I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this and I will take that ride home.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to North Wilkesboro Speedway, North Wilkesboro, Wilkes County, North Carolina, where tonight the stars and cars of the TNT Shock Series will take on this little half-mile bull ring, downhill, uphill, and all sorts of sideways. Going to be coming at you here tonight. My name is Chris Graham with the National Racing Network. It is a pleasure to have you hanging out with us here, and joined in the booth, as always, tonight by Mr. Kylo Ciacelli. And I'll tell you what here, Kylo, this place is, well, it's going to be interesting. We saw some craziness 1 week ago at Southern National. Tonight has the potential to be just as wild.
You've got that right, Chris. Good evening, everybody, from wherever you are in the world. Welcome to North Wilkesboro Speedway, the throwback race of the night. And these Indy Pro 2000 drivers will be in for a treat tonight, I think. We'll probably see some really good racing action. We might see a lot of carnage as well. The starts are going to be very tricky here, and even in the practice session right now, drivers having a little bit of trouble even making it down pit road.
On and off a pit road is sketchy. No surprise here early on. Andrew Berry going to be quickest in practice, followed by Jason Padu, J.W. Miller, Jason Owens. Peter Donchak, a little bit of a surprise name there, running fifth in practice. James Watson sixth. Nee Camargo, Joe Varvel, Zach Evans, Simon Fell completing the top 10. Your points leader tonight, entering the night's racing, Wes Shire, currently 11th on the speed charts here in practice. He's going to have some work to do, because one of the big things here tonight, I think, Kylo, is going to be you don't want to be mid-pack when everybody's on cold tires.
No, this first restart is going to be very chaotic indeed. The only double file restart we'll have of the night will be off the start, but it'll be tricky for sure. Low tire pressures, cold tires, definitely a handful to say the least here at North Wilkesboro. So these guys just got to be careful, try and get the race started, and not spend the first 10 minutes under caution like we have before in the series.
Taking a look here at West Shire, these guys they snip laps off here incredibly quickly. 16.3 seconds the lap time for West Shire. We'll pull up the best times here for you so you can get a look at where your favorite is running. Currently Joe Varvel at the top of the charts. Well, now it's going to be Jason Owens at a 16.212. 16.212 seconds. Simon Fell with a quick lap as well. Zach Evans moving up to second quick on the board, 16.268. Wes Shire going to be back there in 8th position right now. Pick up Peter Donchak as he makes his way off into turn number 1. Lap number 1 already in the books. He'll be through lap number 2 pretty quickly here. Andrew Berry completing lap number 2 at a 16.218. How about 4 thousandths of a second separating your top 3? Big into the wall there. Good Lord, that was a huge hit. Huge hit.
Yeah, he was really pushing there, trying to get that lap time in. Only a couple guys left to run here. Notably, James Watson has not set a lap time yet. Still lots of time, though. Still over 3 minutes remaining in the 5 minutes for qualifying here. So he's got time for sure to set a lap time, just hasn't done it yet. Top 5 so far: Jason Owens, Simon Fell, Andrew Berry in 3rd place. Zach Evans and Joe Varvel are the top 5, but those top 3, only 6 thousandths of a second, super close at the front of the pack.
Seeing James Watson just getting out onto pit lane here. There you go. Light him up. Get out onto the racetrack. Trying to get as much heat as you possibly can in these tires. Watson, your winner 1 week ago, one of the most excited guys we've had in victory lane in a long time. It feels like the kind of win he got a week ago may be what you have to do here tonight. Be just quick enough to be there at the end. You don't have to blister him on outright pace, so long as you're at the front with a handful of laps to go.
No, for sure. James was hanging around in 2nd or 3rd place. Looks like he's going to try another go here as he pulls in before his lap is completed. Yeah, last week he just kind of bided his time, running his 2nd and 3rd for most of the race, and then the strategy worked out in a way, got him out front, and he stayed there. So definitely could be the situation tonight. The pit strategy is a little bit different here. Fuel runs probably a 22 minutes at maximum here, so these guys are going to be looking for a couple of cautions to try and stretch that to a 1 stop. But we'll get there when we get there. I'm sure we're going to have some sort of an incident in the early stages of this race here as we get going.
Yeah, the early race incidents are maybe what gets you to a 1-stop strategy. The problem with trying to run that strategy, though, is you're going to absolutely cook off the right front tire here. We haven't heard as much about the right rear being a source of wear. It's all been right front, and we're seeing it in push off of the corners, both turn 4 and turn 2. Do you really want to be the guy that's out there on 1 set of tires?
Well, you can make it work. This is a multi-groove racetrack, and if you run higher up, you can save a little bit of the tire if you, instead of cutting right down to the yellow line on the bottom of the track. Also, when you're in the pack too, if you want to stay in line, if you can stay in line right up against the guys in front of you, lifting off and coasting in on corner entry definitely helps with that as well. So these guys can stretch it out. Tire wear definitely plays a factor and does drop off on lap time, but the passing ability of this track might make it more beneficial to stay out on older tires.
One of the things I think here, and I'll have to go back and check this post-race, I think James Watson only got 1 lap in. iRacing is scoring him as having completed 2 laps. I wonder if that was a little something sneaky in the update that we got here for 2022 Season 2. It used to be you could cheese qualifying a little bit by going out, running a lap, don't cross the start-finish line, and tow back to the pits quickly. And you could basically run as many warm-up laps as you wanted to without having the tires change. So that may be a way of iRacing eliminating some of the cheesing that was going on here.
Still ended up in P6 though for Watson, so not a bad starting spot for him. He'll definitely be looking to move forward, but these cars are starting to line up on the grid. We'll take you through your starting lineup.
Take a look here. On the front row will be Jason Owens, claiming his first pole position of the season, starting alongside Simon Fell, 1/1000th of a second slower. Andrew Berry and Zach Evans going to make up row number 2. Joe Varvel and James Watson on row number 3, Vic Aldrich and Peter Donchak on row 4. Dave Sparks, J.W. Miller on row 5, Wes Shire and Jason Paydu on row number 6. A little bit of a surprise there to see Paydu all the way back in the 12th position after a stout run in practice. Nick Camargo, another one, starting a little bit deeper in the pack than we saw him run in practice. He will roll off 13th, alongside Alex Teeter on the outside of row number 7. Row 8 will have Mike Long and Chris Kresge, and it looks like Kresge will be a did not start here tonight. Row 9, Shane Holstein and Jason Miller. All alone on the last row will be the number 25 of Rick Cleary. This one absolutely going to be interesting, and let's see here. We're going to get 2 pace laps here, at least we should anyway. So let's bring up our pole sitter for tonight, Jason Owens, and I'll tell you what here, Jason, the car was, you were quicker than you were in practice. What are you thinking here as we get ready to roll green? Well, I think Jason's
actually talking to us on the driver chat right now.
Talking on the driver chat, but we're getting ready to go green, so check in with me under a yellow.
Oh, that's awesome. Field's going to pull into turns 3 and 4. This one, 50 laps in distance, or 50 minutes in distance, I should say. Field's going to come off of turn number 4. See the green flag. Start of this one's going to be all yours. Lap number 1 in the books, and it is a clean one. Going to be Jason Owens at the head of the field. Andrew Berry running second. Simon Fell, Joe Varvel, your top 4. James Watson sliding back just a little bit there in 5th. Side-by-side battle now for the race lead. Berry looking inside of Owens off of 4.
Andrew Berry's going to look to the inside of turn number 1 here on Jason Owens, the pole sitter. Berry already up in the 3rd position. He's looking to make up space and pull away from the pack here. Still side by side, now going out at turn 4. Berry is going to have that advantage. Owens just keeps the momentum on the outside, though, going back down to turn 1.
The lap car of Chris Kresge, who missed the start of this one, going to be up in front of the leaders here very, very quickly. Simon Fell runs 3rd. James Watson has closed the gap back in. Now we're going to have the top 6 pretty much nose to tail off to 1.
Berry has cleared Owens now, so he is leading the pack here, able to make up those positions quickly, get through, and we'll see what the order takes us to here. And if these guys start to fan out, like I said, this is a multi-groove racetrack, and you can keep some speed on that outside line and not wear out the tire as much. So we'll see if that comes into effect here after everybody settles down.
Chris Kresge with a 1.15 second pit stop to start this race. He is the only driver that has been on pit road, and that's where he started. Andrew Berry just setting a new fastest lap of the race. He's going to be in at a 16.254 second lap. And, man, see, the comments are already blowing up here. Chris Kresge saying made a last-minute decision to buy the track. Very little practice. Good call. Cullen Johnston checking in the comments as well, saying carnage. Let's see some carnage. And I came for a Watt spin. Well, we didn't get any one of those. Mike, we got a big wreck.
Zach Evans also going to be involved. That's a huge incident. That's Joe Varvel in the Ukrainian flag car, and he came into contact. Simon Fell, and I think Zach Evans was the other car involved there. Take a look at the instant replay here.
May have been Simon Fell that was running in the 3rd position here. Take a look as they get off to turn number 1. Oh, some Punterino from the 86 of Varvel.
And just collects the back of Simon Fell there. Nothing really Simon could have done differently. Looks like he was just running his line, and Joe went in a little hot there into the back of him. Zach Evans, you got to feel bad for it too. Just couldn't go anywhere here, and he's going to drop out down on pit road as well. So these guys are going to be multiple laps down, but we got a first run in there, Chris. Almost 10 laps worth on the first green flag start. So looks like these guys are able to handle the cold tires. So we might see some longer runs going into the night.
Yeah, this one could be a little bit interesting here as we take a look at Zach Evans on the pit lane. And will now pick up Andrew Berry, your race leader. Looks like Zach Evans still getting some service done there, as is Simon Fell. Chris Kresge, I believe, I don't think the leaders got past him. So he will be able to come around here and get at the tail end of the lead lap. Let's see. Yeah, he'll get the wave. No, he will not.
Yeah,
wow, yeah, behind Andrew Berry. That's a tough break for Chris Kresge. Kind of hoping to get an early race caution that wasn't him, and he got it, but not before going a lap down to race leader Andrew Berry. 4 cars electing to come down and take service that were not involved in the incident. And actually make that a 5th car now with Shane Holstein heading down pit lane. It'll be Peter Donchak, Alex Teeter, Zach Evans, Shane Holstein, and Rick Cleary taking pit service. Chris Kresge will have to drop to the back of the field once they get the 1-to-go signal. Simon Fell and Joe Varvel appear that they will both be out of this race.
I believe Kresge will actually be allowed to stay in line. I think they only get dropped back in the last 10 minutes of the race if they're under yellow flag conditions, so he should still be in line.
Really not what Jason Owens wants to see.
No, definitely not. They're going to be going back to green this time by. Lights are off on the safety truck as they come down turn number 2 again, lining through the backstretch.
Seeing Mike McCullen, who is watching us from Sebring. Hope you're enjoying the show down there, Mike. Saying season 1 was brutal. Stephen Thompson, this could have been a 26-car field. Going back to green with 5 minutes and 45 seconds complete. Chris Kresge, the lap car, will stay between race leader Mike Barry and Jason Owens. We'll see how quickly Owens is going to be able to attempt the pass here. Side-by-side battles a little bit further back in the pack. How about James Watson looking inside of Owens off of 4?
Yeah, James Watson looking to make a move here on Owens as they go into turn number 1. They're going to be side-by-side on the exit. Out of 2, even down the back straightaway, but they still have Kresge in front. Kresge's not a slow driver, so he doesn't look like he's holding these guys up too much. Watson is just going to get that pass completed going down the front straightaway, and he is now clear of Jason Owens. So Watson up in the 2nd place. A little bit of a repeat from last week here, sorting out so far. Barry up front and Watson in P2.
Kresge staying to the outside of the racetrack to stay clear of James Watson, who's running in 2nd. Gentlemanly thing there by Mr. Kresge to give him the room to pass, but tell you what, J.W. Miller getting around Jason Owens here. Kresge up into the outside wall.
Yeah, Kresge caused a big checkup in that outside lane, and J.W. Miller said thank you very much. He took that position right away from Jason Owens. So now we've got the top, well, I guess from 2nd to 7th place now in a group, as Andrew Berry has pulled out a lead, and caution.
Yellow. Seeing some trouble on the racetrack here for Peter Donchak. Take a look and see what happened here to the 57. Oh, corner exit caught that little bit of a bump. Loops the car around, no harm, no foul. Oh, let's bring an old friend up into the booth here with us. Chad Owens. Oh my God, Chad Irvine. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Oh, good, guys. How are you guys doing?
Well, we're here. Glad to have you back in the booth here with us. Our buddy 90210 checking in the comments saying, just loose like my ex-wife.
Man, this race brings back memories. I remember season 1 we were running here, and it was not exactly the smoothest of sailings. I got caught up in about 3 wrecks, and none of them were my own fault. And I somehow ended up still with a top 10 barely. So this track in this series, it's got some history. We just have to hope that it plays out better than it did last time around.
Yeah, that was, I believe, also the night that Oisin Walsh lapped the field by 2 laps. around this place.
I don't think that's. Well, no, you're right. That was the race that Ray was not here. I told him he was lucky for not being here because he used it as his drop week and it was miserable. He did not pit the entire time because we spent about 75% of the time race under caution.
Yeah, we're not close to that one here, Kylo, and I'll tell you what, as we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing, I'm actually pretty impressed with what we've seen here. These guys have been able to make passes. It's really been kind of an interesting night thus far. We've seen a little bit of the multiple grooves. Obviously, the bottom in 3 and 4 is big, but the 1 and 2 end of the racetrack really starting to open up.
Yeah, we always give these guys the benefit of the doubt. They always say it's going to be a wreck fest, and then when they actually get in these races, it's pretty clean. Not too scary like we thought of there, but this restart going to be a little bit different with the lap traffic of Kresge out of the way now. So Watson's going to be right on the tail of Barry, and we'll see if he can do anything here. Try and scare Andrew Barry, but he looks dominant tonight. Barry does.
How about this one? Kevin Smalley checking in the comments and absolutely nailing it. Will be a new podium here tonight. In fact, an entirely new top 5. Oisin Walsh, Ray Kingsbury, Kevin Smalley, Robert Gamble, Alex Van de Sant were the top 5 the last time we were here. Definitely going to be a different podium this time around as pace truck is in, field is off at turn number 4. Green flags in the air, we're back underway. What a start for Andrew Barry.
Aldridge going to the inside early. He's all the way to the white line, but he cannot get the move done. Wow, what a start from these guys.
Watson's under a little bit of pressure from J.W. Miller, but those guys are teammates, so don't think we'll see any funny business from them too early on here. Just try and catch back up to the back of Andrew Barry, but he's already pulled out over a half a second lead. Andrew Barry is flying.
One of those deals where sometimes trying to be nice to your teammate can cost the both of you. We may have seen it into turn 1 last time. J.W. Miller backing off pretty significantly, leaving the door open for James Watson to get back to the inside of the racetrack.
Jason Miller went around going into turn 1 and 3 cars spun around trying to avoid the wreck. Wow, we'll have to take a look at this replay because multiple cars were involved.
May have been Mike Long and Peter Donchak getting involved. Oh, man, wow. Couple of evasive maneuvers there. 2 cars up into the outside wall. That's going to be Long and Donchak. 1 car into the inside wall. That looks like Rick Cleary.
And that's, I think, the issue that we had last time that we were here. Just 1 car would lose it. And unfortunately, he lost it all on his own, but just cars had nowhere to go. You lift off the throttle, you spin to the inside. You don't lift, you go to the outside, and you hit the wall. There's just no room for error here at Wilkesboro in these cars.
Going on board here with Rick Cleary. Heavy on the brakes, spins the car down to the inside. Kind of a no harm, no foul spin there for Rick Cleary.
He looks like he's going to be all right. Oh, and then he gets touched at the end there. I think he just got clipped at the end, so he might end up having some damage there.
Peter Donchak on his way out of the pits. And I'll tell you what here, Kylo, now we're 12 and a half minutes into this thing. I would imagine we're probably in that range of good to make it on 1 stop.
We're right on the edge of it, I'd want to say. We've already had 30 laps completed now as they come across the line. Probably, let's say 8 or 10 of those have been under caution so far. So I think we need 1 more caution for you to be super safe on the 1 stop here. But yeah, very close to stretching it out from here.
Oh, the comments are getting good here. Cullen Johnston saying James asleep at the restart. Speaking of Mr. Watson. Mike McCullen saying Watson needs more Mountain Dew. He's got a podcast to record. Cullen following that up with, and 10 other leagues to run tonight. All of those statements are completely accurate, by the way. As soon as this race is over, we'll be recording the next edition of the Pizza at the Pagoda podcast, previewing the XL 375 at Texas Motor Speedway for the NTT IndyCar Series. Looking forward to the dumpster fire that show's going to be with a bunch of torqued up PM18 drivers here.
Now, I have to say, Chris, you know what my favorite part about that race name is going to be? For once, they have the distance correct. I'm sick of it being, oh, it's 600 kilometers, but it's actually like 578 or whatever because we just round up. No. For once, they have the distance of the race correct at Texas. Thank you, IndyCar.
Yes, finally. Kevin Smalley just adding in here to the pile on Watson game. He's a Red Bull guy. Source, me carrying Red Bull for him from outside turn 1 to outside turn 3 at the Rolex 24. Kevin Smalley saying, hi, Chad. I will say hi to Chad's mom. And Mike saying, one co-host drunk at Sebring. This is going to be awesome. Green flag back in the air, 14.5 minutes down. Call it.
Shire on these restarts has been incredible. He's just been getting after it and trying to look anywhere he can for some clean air. And unfortunately cannot do it there, but man, he just gets the jump every time.
He's got some space now. He's got Kresge, the lap car, in between him and his next rival on track. Back up front, Barry did get a nice restart again, but Watson's keeping the gap a little bit closer now. Didn't have to pass Owens this time through. In fact, he's reeling him in. Last lap, almost identical race times for those two drivers up front.
And I tell you what, this battle with Wes Shire and Vic Aldrich is a pretty good one here. Shire finally having to fall back in line. Oh, and he may have gotten the outside wall on corner exit. Car looks like it's turning okay. Maybe just a little kiss there off of turn number 4.
And that's one of those things. These cars have had adjusted collision dynamics to them over the last couple of seasons here in iRacing. So hopefully something like that is going to be, a slight tap ball might not impact them too much as the season goes on.
Yeah, these cars have been pretty resistant to these sidewall impacts throughout all the oval racing, especially last year. I think it was Richmond. There were some pretty heavy impacts coming out of turn 4 there, and not a lot of damage done. So these PM18s pretty strong in those lateral movements out to the wall there. But realistically, we're pretty spread out in most of the pack here. We've got a big gap from Wes Shire to Dave Sparks. And
big hit into the outside wall. Nick Camargo, Dave Sparks. Man, how's that for the good call on the camera switch there, seeing that group of cars. Man, that was a huge hit, and Nick Camargo is junk on the right front of that car. Take a look and see what happened here.
So Dave Sparks out in the front of the pack, and just gets dove from the side by Nick Camargo there. They come together into turn number 1. Looks like they collected maybe Jason Miller again from the back. Rough night for Miller.
It looks like it was Peter Donchak maybe that they collected that just barely got into there. I think he's okay. But there was a couple of cars that were pretty close to getting involved in this one.
On board here with Jason Miller. Got it looped around. Oh, man, the hard transition into the grass. Looks like he's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think he was all right. He was clean to get away with things on that one. But, man, these guys, I feel like this track in terms of how you have to set it up and how these cars work, it feels a lot like, as different as these tracks are, you might set it up very similar to Bristol, where if you find a secret in the setup, you might run away with things. But if you don't, you're stuck in the pack. And that takes me back to season 1 where I won at Bristol. I sucked everywhere else, but I found one trick and it was good to the end. But here, it's very similar. It seems like the guys up front, whether it's Barry or Watson or Miller, they have something figured out that gets them single file and pulled away, but everyone back behind is stuck in the pack.
Kevin Smalley bringing the snark to the comments, and it is beautiful. Wes making setup adjustments mid-race up to version 12.3.2 now. Mike,
knowing Wes, that makes sense.
Mike McCullen saying, I'd like to report a murder. Yeah, pretty much. And Kevin saying netcode improvement on display. I don't know that was netcode. Kevin, Chad working in a Bristol reference. Shock.
Hey, I won one race in the series, all right? Come on, I'm a champion.
No, you're a winner. And we'll use that term loosely.
Hey, you know what? Thanks, Team Orders.
All right, so now, Kylo, looking at things here, we're almost to the halfway point. They've got to be at, I mean, I'm really thinking close to good on fuel.
Oh, they're absolutely good on fuel, Chris. They have
with
to be
with a stop anyway. What would be the harm in making the stop early?
The harm in making it now is you don't make it to the end of the race, really. You need to get to that 28-minute mark or so in the race time to be 100%. So they need to stretch it out here, but if they want to minimize that fuel run they need, it's going to be after 28 minutes. Restart back underway here at North Wilkesboro. Much better start from James. The West Shire looking to the outside.
Shire to the outside of Aldrich off at turn number 4. Great battle there. And I tell you what, great restart for James Watson. Top 3 all going to be nose to tail. Call it 2.5 car lengths. Oh, and 1 car going around. That's going to be Chris Kresge. And that will bring out the caution flag.
That's what, the second or third that he's brought out tonight? Oh.
Yeah, that was just a little bit of a spin, and I think trying to avoid everybody here. Go on board with, actually, take a look here. See what may have happened to Chris Kresge. Oh, yeah, the big checkup there. West Shire getting around Vic Aldrich. Aldrich had to jump on the binders, and Kresge spins down to the inside of the racetrack.
I think just good defensive driving there from Kresge. If he continues as he was, he runs right into the back of Vic Aldrich there. So he's already a lap down. His race is effectively over. So good move on his part. He didn't get anybody else caught up in that. So not too terrible of a caution. A couple of cars coming down pit road, though. Most notably Jason Owens, Zach Evans, Peter Donchak. So Jason Owens really the only one of the top guys to come into pit road here. He's going to be splitting the strategy on.
Yeah,
he qualified on pole, but he's already back down to 7th before we came around the lane. So it's interesting to see him do that. But when he only got 3 spots to lose, he's going to have to work his way up.
Jason Miller also came in after the incident he was involved in at lap number 41. You're starting to wonder if maybe that's not close enough here to try to eke something out. However, that one caution, that could be a kind of a game changer here. Seeing some of the comments, I'm pitting here 100% if I'm Wes. Kevin Smalley calling it the race-winning move by J05. Mike McCullen say he must be letting J07 drive.
I was going to say, I never know which Jason Owens is running in these races. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, the call from Cullen Johnston here. Pitting here is the winning move if we go green. That's a massive if, though. I'll tell you what, though, Kylo, the thing here is that we're already down to multiple cars that are off the pace, you know, some of this kind of stuff. You're talking about not having as many cars out here to potentially cause some issues.
Every 10 minutes we lose another 2 or 3 cars here. Only the top 11 are still on the lead lap, and that's going to actually go down to 12 because Chris Kresge is a lap down as well. But yeah, we're down a few cars. Most guys are out there still running, even the guys involved in the super early incidents. Zach Evans and Donchak and Pedu, those guys are all still running out there on the track.
Yeah, only cars out of the race right now are Nick Camargo, who is still pit side. 6 minutes, 50 seconds worth of pit time there. And Joe Varvel out of the race. He's the first car that will be done, finishing with only 8 laps completed. Pace truck is in. Green flags back in the air, underway once again here at North Wilkesboro. That's the kind of start we expected out of Andrew Berry. You wonder, how hard does J.W. Miller push James Watson here, and is there really any incentive to try to push this early?
Not for these guys up front, I don't think. They just want to try and stretch as far as they can go and make sure that they're good on fuel till the end of the race here.
And word in the chat from Stephen Thompson is Jason said 27.5 minutes for a full tank run. These guys are already at that point. We got Michael Long around to the front stretch. That's going to bring out another yellow. I think he caught the wall off of Ford and brought that car back around, but I think from here to the end, anybody that stops is good to the end. I think you were for quite some time now.
Yeah, so everybody who didn't come to pit road should be coming this time by, I would assume so, as we got a hard hit there for Michael Long on the inside of the front straightaway. So his race will be hampered at the least. He might be done for the day as well. So we'll just watch the leaders here, see what they do. And it does look like, oh, Andrew Berry's playing some games, but no, they do not come in. Looks like Alex Teeter is going to be the only one to elect to come in. And Jason Owens is going to come back down again as well.
Seeing the comment here from Cullen Johnston, been a lot of spins and not many wrecks, so that's a lot of fast lap cars. A pretty good point here. We've seen a handful of cars that have some damage, but a lot of these have been spins to avoid the incident type deals.
Yeah, I have to completely agree with that. Like, we saw Kresge completely lift off the throttle. That's one of these things in these cars is you lift off the throttle to avoid a wreck. If you lift too quick, you spin to the inside. If you don't lift enough, you go to the outside. There's just way too many things. These cars are super sensitive to throttle control. You have to be very, very careful in them to keep them pointed in the right direction. But overall, I think that the guys up front know how to do that. If you're some of the guys further back, you have to, it's one of those things you have to figure out. I remember my first season in this series, it was a lot of my wrecks were just getting caught up. I qualified at the back, had to work my way up, and unfortunately, you know, guys starting in front of me ended up spinning, and I got ran into a couple times just because I didn't know how to slow these cars down, so they have some work to do. So overall, it's just one of those things where these guys have to figure something out as we just cross halfway here.
Yep. Stephen Thompson checking in, by the way, Chad, saying 21.5 minutes for a full tank, not 27.
Either way, that's under green. We're not going green to the end. The way that this race has gone, whether it's this year or years past, we're not going green to the end.
Mike McCullen saying Barney is going to need a spa day after today. Get that man some Tiger Balm. Actually, it is Wiggles and Giggles on the flag stand. Friends of the National Racing Network, Warren Alston and Nicole Flood, the dynamic duo of race starters. Nicole actually chief starter for USAC on the anytime they come out east. Nicole is the head starter for USAC. As we see Wes Shire coming down pit lane, not really a surprise here to see Wes come in towards the end of the pit cycle here.
I think the most interesting thing to me about Wes coming on so late during this caution is just how many cars he's going to be stuck behind. I think that he should be cycled ahead of him under the next caution, but that's still just interesting timing overall as he'll go to the back of the pack, and I think he's going to end up 11th under this yellow flag.
Green flag back out in the air. Andrew Berry once again going to try and gun away. James Watson a little bit asleep on these restarts, unless that's his plan to leave a little bit of space. He's almost half a second behind as they come down the backstretch already here behind Andrew Berry. Further down in the pack, really nobody too aggressive so far, mostly in a single file line. You gotta look to some of the lap cars in about 10th or 11th place here that are starting to fight. Zach Evans on the inside of Chris Kresge coming out of turn 2.
Kresge down to the inside of the racetrack trying to get around Jason Miller. Miller, who was spun and half wrecked earlier in this race, now running 5th, up 13 spots from where he started on the grid here tonight.
Kresge's a lap down, so he's got some work to do. He's the first car off the lead lap, and we don't have the lucky dog in this series. But he is right there trying to fight his way back up onto the lead lap. We'll have to see if he can do it.
Zach Evans now to the inside. He's another lap car as well, looking to make it through. Just shows the war of attrition here. Jason Miller's been in a couple of incidents, and he's up into 5th place, up 13 spots. But he hasn't really had the pace of these guys up front here. He's been about 2 or 3 tenths off on most of his lap times, so he's definitely not the quickest guy out there. But he's holding his own in 5th place, holding off these guys that are a lap down behind him. Meanwhile, up front, the front 3 have really broken away here. Barry Watson and J.W. Miller have broken away. Vic Aldrich just hanging on to them in 4th place, but these guys are flying, trying to pull away. And looking back, just trying to pick up where Jason Owens and Wes Shire have ended up after this cycle here. Looks like they haven't made up really any position since the restart. They're still stuck in traffic.
Yeah, Owens log jam here for the 5th spot, though.
Yep, that's exactly what Jason Owens is at the back of. Jason Miller, Zach Evans, Alex Teeter, Peter Donchak, Jason Owens. Wes Shire going to be the next car in line behind Owens. If you're Jason Owens, you sort of have to get a move on a little bit here because you want to try to make up as much as you can before the next caution.
Yeah, no, that's one thing is you have to try to find a way around him. You see him peeking there to the outside. You can't do it on corner entries. And you're going to get a better drive off, but there's just not so much room to do it here when we're under a mile oval. He's there. You see him to the outside now, side by side. He's going to get them on corner entry, but he's still held up by traffic in front. There's not much for him. He peeks to the inside, cannot keep it going. I think that's Teeter in front of him, and Jason peeks to the inside once again.
Back down the front straightaway, and this pack of cars may be good to go to the end. Some of them are definitely good, including Alex Teeter and Jason Owens. They stopped at lap number 55. Jason Miller stopped at 41. Zach Evans stopped at 47. They are both side by side. You almost have to wonder here, if you're Jason Owens and Wes Shire, do you maybe want to hang back and try to conserve the right front a little bit?
Well, you can try that, but I think the most important thing is clearing these guys in front of them right now. They are clearly off the pace from what those guys were doing earlier in the race. Oh, Jason Owens very close to the back of Alex Teeter, checking up into turn 1 there just a little bit. Yeah, these guys are definitely off the pace from where Wes and Jason should be running, so they're just trying to get through this traffic as quickly as they can. Zach Evans is on the inside of Kresge now. He's broken free. Teeter's going to get around Jason Miller as well. Oh, they go 3 wide coming out of the pit lane there. That was a little bit code brown there. They keep it going for now. Jason Owens still cannot get this pass done on Jason Miller.
I think if you're Jason Owens right now, you have to be, first of all, frustrated with that move from the car coming out of the pits. Way off the pace for that, but at the same time, you have to be focusing on the move ahead. He's had a couple opportunities. He's almost in the back of the trouble in front. Oh, that's going to be huge down the front straightaway. I think that is going to be the 6th car. That's Zach Evans.
Zach Evans and Chris Kresge coming together there on the front straightaway.
I hate to put it this way, but if you're, some of the guys in the pack, you're fortunate it was those two and not, whether it was Kresge or not, it was, some of the guys that were involved in traffic. So the guys up at the front of the field, you have to be thankful you got through that one clean.
Watching the replay, that was Zach Evans losing it all by his lonesome. And this is where the strategy games are really going to get interesting. Andrew Berry, James Watson, J.W. Miller, Vic Aldrich, all making their way down pit road here with 32, almost 33 minutes on the board. Looks like they are going to come out behind Shane Holstein. Or at least it's going to be very close here.
Berry. Watson and Miller both jumped Andrew Berry there on the pit stop, so Berry is a little bit slow getting into his box there, and he's going to lose 2 spots for that. But now these guys at the back of the pack, they'll have the same job that Wes and Jason just tried to get through in front.
And the big for me, guys, is just, as crucial as we've seen pit stops be, and we've talked about fuel strategy all race, how critical are tires going to be? We haven't talked about this strategy at all.
I think it's going to be a big play here, Chad, because James Watson, J.W. Miller, Andrew Berry, Vic Aldrich, all stopping at lap number 76. Top two, Alex Teeter, Jason Owens, stopped at lap 55. Jason Miller stopping at lap 41. Wes Shire stopping at lap 58. You're talking about a almost 25 lap difference in the age of these right front tires. That could be huge. If we get another 10, 15 minute long green flag run, we could see a rager here at the front of this one.
Yeah, we'll see here as we approach 15 minutes remaining in the session. So Watson, Miller, Berry, and Vic Aldrich were the cars that came down pit road, at least on the first cycle through, and they will be in the 5th position starting from, but they do have a couple of lap cars, Nika Margot and Simon Fell, both in their way in the lineup here. So they'll have to get through those lap guys, again, not in the last 10 minutes of the race, so they will be in line, as it looks like Simon Fell does duck out of the way there. Down the pits they go. But they'll have some work to do here if they want to catch back up to the front here. It'll be Teeter and Owens up front now after that pit cycles happen there, so see what these guys can do.
Cullen Johnston checking in here saying, Zach got the bad end of 2 deals tonight. Zach commenting to that saying, I bit my tongue and logged off. What I want to say is another matter. Zach, join in the booth. We'll talk to you here, bud. We will.
There's no penalties off the air or off the official stream, right? Just on the broadcast.
That is correct. No FCC to worry about either. Green flag back in the air. Teeter getting away from Jason Owens. Tight battle here between Jason Miller and Wes Shire.
And the lap traffic has already parted ways for Watson, Miller, and Berry. They are free. Vic Aldrich just to the inside of Nika Margot now. So those guys right on the back of the guys they're chasing ahead. Wes Shire looking to make a move there on Jason Miller. Down to the inside. Wes tend to like that outside lane here a little bit. This might not be as comfortable. So we got to move for the lead going on to turn number 2.
Jason Owens with a great move into turn number 3 last time by. Put him up to the head of the field. He's going to open up a pretty decent gap here on Alex Teeter as well. Call it 3 car lengths into turn number 1. The battle for third is side by side.
I think this arrow might be rigged with Jason being up the front. He owns this league, and he's currently owning this race. But these guys back behind, they're fighting tooth and nail, trying to get any bit of track position they possibly can. And we got a huge battle here, logjam for third.
Man, Jason Miller has been holding on great to this 3rd place. In fact, James Watson's going to drive around the outside of Wes Shire. Looks like he's backing out. Now he's going to duck down to the inside, and he's going to clear Jason Miller coming out of turn number 4. Great move from Watson. He's back up into 3rd position now. He's looking to chase the leaders on fresh tires.
Andrew Berry wanting a peek there at Wes Shire. He's going to do it again into 3. That is a big dive by Andrew Berry. What a move there. Big wiggle off of turn number 4. Oh, now Shire's got to back out, held up behind Jason Miller. Things going to get interesting here down the backstretch.
And the thing about this car for Andrew Berry is we've seen what he can do in clean air. We have not seen what he can do in dirty air. Now he's got fresh tires, but he's still got that dirty air. He's worked his way up a couple spots, but he's got a long way to go to catch back up to James Watson.
Now J.W. Miller on the inside of Jason Miller. Those two will be going at it. He's going to get cleared. Now Wes Shire finally looking to get through. He's still next to Jason Miller after about 10 laps and 3 cars that have passed them both. They're still side by side here.
I think the one thing that this restart has proven to us is that tires do matter. A couple of guys like Watson and Berry have been able to improve significantly, but they had a long way to go to catch back up, so it just depends on what traffic does in front of them.
Yeah, looking at the gaps here as they get across the start-finish line, Jason Owens with a 1.4 second lead over Alex Teeter. It's another second back to James Watson in 3rd. They may be able to make the gap up, but passing these guys is going to be a completely different ball of wax.
Jason Owens is putting in the good lap times here. That last time through is the first time in a while that Watson and Berry have been quicker. In fact, Watson, Berry, and J.W. Miller all pulling identical lap times trying to catch up to Jason Owens here. These guys are on a mission, and they're catching Alex Teeter pretty quickly. Let's see what they can do.
By the way, guys, I just got to bring up Jason Owens started on the pole, currently running in the first position. We'll have to see how long he can hold on. Alex Teeter right behind him, about a second and a half or so off. He started 14th up to second. Great run from him. The rest of the top 5, though, no surprises there. Alex Teeter, though, biggest mover of the race so far, up 12 spots, excuse me.
Another one from the no surprises here column. Andrew Berry setting the fastest lap of the race last time by at a 16.132. He's putting the work in on these tires right up under the diffuser of James Watson, the rear wing, whatever you want to call it. The ass end of the 39 is absolutely full of Andrew Berry at this point. And they've got Alex Teeter on old tires. Trouble, yellow on the racetrack.
That was a 25 of Rick Cleary going around, I think on his own, coming off turn number 4, clipped the outside wall, spun to the inside around a couple times, tried to keep it going but could not do so, and there you see him nail the inside wall, comes from right front, completely broken off.
Yeah, you hate to see that if you're Jason Owens. He was clear and sailing at the front of the field there, and that lead is now wiped out. These guys who are on fresher tires have caught right back up to him. He's got a car in between him still, but he's got to be starting to sweat here as we get into the closing stage of this race. Less than 10 minutes to go.
And now knowing that we're inside of 10 minutes and the lap cars are going to move to the back, a little bit of a surprise here that we haven't seen guys like J.W. Miller, Wes Shire come down pit lane, take that basically free set of tires. If everybody from almost 5th on back, I would think, would want to stop here and put fresh rubber on.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did it here because of where we are with the caution and where the time remaining is, especially for one of the guys like Donchak or Holstein in this race. But yeah, these guys overall, I think that they have basically nothing to lose at this point, especially if you're some of the guys towards the tail end of the lead lap.
Doesn't look like we had any real takers there. Shane Holstein's going to be the last guy on the lead lap here, and he'll be taking that one in. But everybody else in the back of the pack, they decide to stay out. And Jason Miller's still out after stopping on lap 41. He's really been stretching this run here. Surprised to not see him come down pit road. Only lose a couple of spots there and get some fresh rubber. Thought it would be a no-brainer, but clearly these guys not thinking about that.
Yeah, it almost makes you wonder what the thought process is on tires versus fuel here. Let's bring in, out of the infield care center, Zach Evans here. Zach, tough night for you. Tell us about what happened out there.
Oof. Yeah, tough night for sure. First caution, honestly, I'm still pretty unfamiliar with these cars, and first and foremost, didn't want to run over James. He's kind of obviously helped bring me back into the league, and just tried too hard to miss him and ended up driving myself into the wreck. But didn't hurt the car too bad. Still had pace and was just trying to patiently work my way through the field, and then made that pit stop and thought we were in a position to really start working our way forward and really contend for a good finish, and had to use up the tires, getting around lap cars and crap. And it's not just a TNT thing at this point. I've just had a lot of issues this season with guys that just don't race with a lot of courtesy or respect, and just want to, fight their own battles and pinch me and this and that. And I try to race with a lot of respect. And the running joke is I run the 6 in a bunch of these leagues. And I was a Mark Martin fan growing up, so that tells you all you need to know. But it's getting old, and I might have to start being a bad guy. I don't know.
All right, Zach, thank you very much for checking in with us here. Obviously frustrated Zach Evans, and man, I'll tell you what, James Watson going quickly to work on Alex Teeter. It was a great restart for Watson, better restart for Owens out front.
Surprised Watson didn't almost jump that restart. He went to the inside, had to check up just a little bit, but he kept it, and he's still up in the second spot.
That was the key thing for them there, is getting by Alex Teeter. Now he's got a chance to go and chase down Jason Owens.
We saw
Berry
1 week ago Andrew Berry overcooked the car trying to make the aggressive run late. This is another place that'll jump out and bite you, just like Southern National did. James Watson is closing on Jason Owens at the head of the field. Alex Teeter right up behind J.W. Miller off 2.
Now Alex's tires starting to show their age here. The rest of the guys that made that later pit stop are getting through him. Up front, the pace is almost identical. Last lap is 16.25 for Owens, a 16.26 for Watson. The gap is just under half a second. Let's see if he can keep it up. Let's see if Barry can catch up and make it a three-way battle.
5.5 minutes left to go here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Jason Owens, your race leader. Wes Shire down to the inside of Alex Teeter off 2.
Yeah, Teeter's dropped pretty far back after that restart. He's fighting pretty hard right now to hold on to that spot from Wes Shire, but he's dropped pretty far back already from 2nd to 5th, and the guys that are behind, or that are now in front of him in terms of Watson and Berry and Miller, they've got the tires. They have to keep things single file. They can't be fighting if they want to catch back up to Jason Owens.
Just ticking over 5 minutes remaining. Andrew Berry caught back up to the back of James Watson. Ooh, Watson with the wiggle off of 2. Berry's going to duck it down to the inside, going into turn number 3. They're side by side through corner entry. Off of the exit, though, Andrew Berry's going to clear up in front of James Watson. He's up into P2. Now he's looking to catch Jason Owens out front.
Back-to-back strong runs here for James Watson. They say that wins, you get the first and the rest come in bunches. It's been a little bit since we saw James Watson in victory lane. The 39 machine has been pretty good thus far. Andrew Berry setting a new fastest lap of the race, 16:121 last time by.
That's not far off of what he set in qualifying either, or even in practice. He set a 16 flat, but 16:121 is still very, very fast. He's got to keep catching up, though. He continues to work on the back, trying to find a way to get back up to Jason Owens out in front.
Yeah, Watson's fallen into the clutches of J.W. Miller now in 4th place. Miller's been behind Watson most of this race. Might be time where he gets a little fed up with that and makes a move on Watson here going into the latter stages. Still, Jason Owens out front, though. Identical lap times again from the top 4 this time. 16:18, 16:18, 16:19, 16:19. These guys are all identical out there on pace. Hard to make up any ground.
Kevin Smalley checking in the comments saying Jason needs a caution in 2 minutes. That may be the case of what's going on here. Is if there's any fall off in lap times, it was a half a tenth that last time by. This is one of those deals where maybe the late race caution could be the saving grace here for Jason Owens.
I think that's what it has to be. Andrew Berry's shown pace all race long. He's trying to settle in, trying to figure out what he can do from this far back in traffic, about 6/10 off right now. They've got a little, I think a single car there with them in between right for the moment, but I think that for the time being, Jason Owens has to be the guy that has everything to lose right now.
Berry caught right up on the back as they went through that traffic. He's on his tail now, under 3 minutes remaining here. Berry's looking to the inside. They almost touch going through the middle of turn 4. Now they're off on corner exit. Berry's going to try again, look to the inside. Owens cuts off the line, though.
Man, this is going to be tight here in the final 2.5 minutes of this one at North Wilkesboro. The lap traffic really burned Jason Owens the last time they came past one. There is another lap car just up the racetrack here. They will likely catch it before the end of this race. Berry and Owens still nose to tail into 3.
Nothing separating these guys. So we're just about to hit 2 minutes remaining left in the session here. A caution at this point would end the race, but I don't think anybody's hoping for that. I want to see this one go to the finish. Andrew Berry honing in on Jason Owens' rear end. They're going to catch up to Shane Holstein here in another lap or 2. That could be some traffic issues. We'll see what happens.
These guys are going to have to set their move up around Andrew Berry. Diving, you saw him last time by just dime it off the corner just a little bit to the inside. He doesn't do it this time. He runs a little bit.
Oh!
He can't get off the corner. He doesn't do it there.
Wow!
Andrew Berry's going to be around the outside now. Coming out of turn number 2. Half a car length in it now. Berry on the outside still. He's going to have the momentum on corner exit. Owens down to the inside, though. Takes the shorter line around the racetrack. They're still side by side. We head down into turn number 1. Berry still on the outside.
Oh, they touch!
Berry's going to be contact there.
He keeps it out of the wall, and he's going to keep going, but Jason Owens is going to drive off into the sunset. That could have been the win right there.
I think that had to be it because there was so much room there. He tried to peek to the outside. I think they had to give away too much ground there, and that has to be it for Jason Owens.
Is that the bump and run for the win from Jason Owens? Lap traffic going to come into play once again here off of turn number 4. Inside of 35 seconds to go here at North Wilkesboro. Andrew Berry closing down the gap now inside of a half second.
Berry is still coming. He's still coming. He's not out of it yet. He's going to push all the way to the end. We're going to have 2 more laps to go after this one still. Lots of time with these short lap tracks. I don't think he's close enough, though. I think he needs to get a little bit more here.
If I were him, I'd hit that nitrous button, hit the DRS, and pray. You don't have either of those systems in these cars, but he's going to go for it. You know him. If he's got the opportunity, he's going to take it. There's lap car to the outside. What's going to happen here is Jason's forced to the inside. There's still nose to tail going into turn 1 for the final time.
Time
off of turn number 4.
The wall. Owens is going to get the win at North Wilkesboro in dramatic fashion. Hits the wall after the end of the race. Wow, what a finish.
Oh my goodness. That's how you put on a show there, boys. Well done, Jason Owens, Andrew Berry. That one was a ton of fun to watch. The Riley Children's Foundation Extra Life number 87 for Indianapolis, Indiana's Jason Owens going to victory lane. He's going to burn them down. Let's show you the results from tonight's race, and that one was tight at the finish. 0.2 of a second separating Jason Owens from Andrew Berry. James Watson coming home third to round out the podium. J.W. Miller, West Shire, your top 5. 6 through 10 going to be Alex Teeter, Jason Miller, Peter Donchak, Vic Aldrich, and Shane Holstein. Chris Kresge, Dave Sparks, Jason Paydu, Simon Fell, and Nee Camargo from 11th to 15th. Rick Cleary, Mike Long, Zach Evans, and Joe Varvel will round out your field here this evening. Man, that one was absolutely spectacular. Fun show there late in this one. And ultimately it was Jason Owens running the bump and run to get to victory lane. Oh, buddy, that was fun. Let's take a look here and cue up the instant replay.
I gotta say, guys, that was an incredible race to the end. Fantastic battle from all these guys out there.
Let's bring in your race winner, Jason Owens. Jason, is this the second time you've utilized the bump and run to win on a short track here in the TNT series?
I don't think that qualifies as a bump and run. He was outside of me. We were door to door.
Slightest bit of contact. Ultimately, it was a fantastic battle that you and Andrew put on there late, and it was clean. Both of you finished right where you were when the contact happened. Talk us through that last handful of laps, especially once you hit the lap traffic that you just caught at the wrong spot.
So before that, like, I don't know if you guys noticed, I pitted twice. I meant to only pit once, and my crew chief didn't put enough fuel in, and I thought if this goes green, I'm not going to go. So I came in a second time before everybody else, and I thought, all right, I'm good on fuel. And then all the cautions came out. I'm like, well, crap. And so when I got around Alex on that next to last restart, or last restart, I don't remember what it is. It's crazy. All I was trying to do was like save my right front for the rest of the race. And then because I knew James and Andrew were going to be coming, and they were going to freight train me if I didn't save my right front. And then there at the end, I don't know who that was, if it was Shane or Rick, but they held their line, and Andrew and I split them, and then Andrew got to the outside of me and won, and it was nuts. He was way better on entry, and I was better on exit, and it was a phenomenal end of the race. I hope it looked as good on the broadcast as it did from the cockpit.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch here, and kind of what we expected. There were quite a few cautions, but it really kind of put the strategy in play where everybody could make it on one stop, at least hypothetically make it on one stop anyway. How did that play into your thought process pre-race of how you thought the race might have played out?
It totally did. You know, I don't know if you guys noticed, but right from the drop of the green flag, I was not aggressive at all. I was just trying to save the car, stay out of contact, let people go, hit my window, and then come out and see where the chips would fall. And so I kind of fell back after the start, right? Like I didn't really push it, but I'm rocking the Mario Andretti Rookie of the Year Dean Van Line shirt tonight, and brought home the win at North Wilkes.
Well, it
Jason,
was.
Jason, I gotta ask you, man. We've seen these cars here a couple of times. We've seen some fantastic racing under green. Will we ever end up seeing these things here in officials?
Maybe if iRacing staff smokes crack when we submit the simulator. That's probably what the only way.
Thank you.
That sounds about accurate there. Jason, congratulations on the win. This was a big points night for you as well. You entered the night tied for 5th in points with Simon Fell. Obviously, Andrew and James having a good run, but finishing ahead of Wes. This is shaping up to be a pretty intense battle here down the stretch.
It is. I'm a little bummed that Andrew got fastest lap there on that last run, because it really would have been a clean sweep if I'd had pole and fastest lap, but he at least had fastest lap, and I think he ended up with most laps led. So still a great points night here for the Extra Life Riley, NRN, TNT, Indy Pro 2000, Extra Life. Looking at
Race
my car,
car.
make sure you get a Sunset Arctic race car, tattoos, PM18, Elite Racing engines. Let's get them all in. But yeah, dude, this may be my single favorite win ever in this series is tonight in this. A little bit of strategy, a little bit of speed, great wheel-to-wheel action there at the end, and I really hope there were some good people watching tonight. And if anybody wants to come in and be a broadcast sponsor, we got room for you on all the cars and right here on NRN TV on the broadcast.
Yeah, that's right. Jason, always the salesman here. Thank you very much for checking in with us. Shane Holstein checking in. Actually, let me bring in Andrew Berry for this one here, and we'll run this back with him. But Andrew, fantastic run for second. Shane Holstein checking in the comments saying, I tried to give them the inside and they decided to split me. What was going through your head in that moment running outside of the lap car and Jason Owens into one?
Well, I got a run on the outside of him as we caught the lapped car, and I decided to take the run. And yeah, we got what we saw there. So
it was fun.
It
We asked Jason if this counted as another bump and run win in the PM18s. Obviously, you were able to keep the car in one piece, but tell us your side of that contact there in turns 1 and 2.
No, I came down on him. That was on me, and I kind of got spooked and backed way out of it, way more than I needed to back out of it. So that kind of might have cost me the win there, but second's still good. I'll take it, especially decent recovery after last week. So
it was a good run and a good points night for you as well. Going to be very tight here between you and Wes, with him finishing in 5th tonight, but you're picking up some of the bonus points. What are you thinking here? We're almost to the halfway point of the season, and realistically, we still have 4 or 5 drivers in contention for a championship.
it should be tight. It'll definitely be interesting as the season goes on. I guess hopefully last week is my drop week, so that should help me a bit. But it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight. Let's make sure we get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you out of here.
Yeah, just thank you to everyone running the show. Thanks to the broadcasters, and have a good one.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And let's bring in the guy who, for the second week in a row, not only didn't Watts spin, but we're talking to him on the podium after the race. James Watson checking in with us here. I'll tell you what, man, not a bad race there. You and Andrew had some good fights. You had some good battles with JW. When we were under green, it looked like you were having fun.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Wasn't really sure what to expect coming into this one, so really happy to end up with a great result. I'm a little disappointed. I actually feel like I might have been able to steal one, but man, the last run after the last few laps felt like my car kind of fell off and Jason pulled away and Andrew got by me. But yeah, it's always nice to be able to be near and be ahead guys like Wes and Andrew and Jason. I'm really happy after tonight.
Often we talk about wins and good finishes coming in bunches. I would imagine the win last week was really a big confidence boost heading into this week, knowing that Southern National and North Wilkesboro were probably going to race similarly, even if they're completely different styles of racetrack.
Yeah, these races were ones I definitely had circled because I have an extensive short track background, and so I've spent a lot of time here in different cars, mods, late models, hell, even stock cars. So I was hoping I'd be able to parlay all that experience into a really good run, and thankfully I did, thank God.
Yeah, you put on a heck of a show for us tonight here, and I tell you what, that 39 machine looked pretty darn good, staying out of all the issues that happened in front of you. Congratulations on a very good run here. As always, the car looks, well, noticeable, so we'll give you that one. Make sure you get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in there for everybody on the side of that thing.
Sir, got to thank Premier Racing Setups. Use code Watson15 for 15% off at checkout. Martin Sports 906 Sim Racing Apparel. You and everyone else at National Racing Network, and ZAS Designs for putting my schemes together.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. And with that, it is going to be time for us to check on out of here, at least after the little wrap-up anyway. And I'll tell you what here, guys. Chad, will come to you first before we wrap up with Kylo. This one was a lot of fun, and it was nice having you back in the booth here with us.
Yeah, it was a great race to watch. It was so much fun to take in, and the biggest thing for me, it reminds me a lot of, say, a Phoenix. When the racing is clean, the racing is good. These guys put on a great show, and it was fantastic to watch till the very end.
And Kylo, we're now looking at rapidly approaching the halfway point of the season. This could be the tightest season ever in terms of the point standings for the TNT Shock Series.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that one, Chris. The drop weeks have basically already happened for all the guys who are fighting for their championship. So it's go for these guys as we head into the back half of the season. Any mistakes can cost you championship points, and even one mistake can really rule you out here. It's so tight at the top.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we're to the point now where with everybody having had that semi-off week, unless you get some help, you cannot falter down the stretch here. And quite frankly, we've got a pretty exciting schedule coming up here for these guys. Next week, we head off to USA International Speedway. That place is going to be wild. The following week, good Lord, we're going off to Twin Ring Motegi on the oval. The Talladega of this season. It will be an ultimate pack race over there in Japan. Rounding out the season with Lucas Oil Raceway, a visit to Martinsville Speedway, which I am absolutely thrilled about. The only road course of the season at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then we close the season out at Gateway, which is another fantastic pack race. There's a lot that can go wrong for these guys just looking at how this schedule is going to shake out.
Yeah, definitely some twists and turns in there. And the road course, too, can be a wrench in things. Some guys aren't as quick on the road courses as they are on the ovals, and some of the oval guys aren't that quick on the road course. I said the same thing twice. It doesn't matter. It's a wrench in there, and it can be thrown in there. So definitely some results can change, and looking forward to the back half of the season, though. Lots of good racing ahead still.
We are looking forward to it, and something else we're looking forward to is the next episode of Pizza at the Pagoda. We got to get out of here so I can go record that one. You'll see that in the next day or so on your favorite podcasting platform. We'll be looking ahead to the XL 375 at Texas Motor Speedway. Coming up tomorrow night, the Sim Racers Club penultimate event of their season, coming up from the Rockingham Speedway. Thursday, you'll get the High Side Hustle with Burt Wojcik and Adam Rubright, talking to the most recent winner from the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, Giovanni Scelzi. Just recorded that interview before we went on the air here. That was absolutely spectacular. You don't want to miss that one, coming up 7 o'clock here on Thursday night. We're going to follow it up with the opening round of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship for 2022 Season 2. 5 laps of the Nürburgring Nordschleife. We will have Wes Shire in the booth with us, so I don't sound dumb trying to pronounce things in German. It's going to be a fun week coming up here and a huge week of racing. NASCAR, IndyCar, F1. Oh, and by the way, the 12 Hours of Sebring. We'll have Mike McCullen down there. Well, he's already down there and apparently intoxicated, so that coverage is going to be spectacular. But with that, we are getting out of here. For everybody at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. For Kylo Ciacelli and Chad Irvine, have a great night, everybody.